Welcome back. Millennials fear their taxes. So do a lot of people. 4 out of every 5 young adults say they worry about making a mistake on their forms. And we continue with more tax tips this week from our money man, Fain, president of Asset Planning Corporation. So do millennials face a different tax situation than most filers do that might scare them?
Yeah, well, Leslie, it's a season of first. You get out of college, get your first job, buy your first home, enroll in your first 401k. So it is a little different. So one of the first questions is, well, how do I know if I'm supposed to file? And we start with the filing threshold. If you're an individual, that threshold's $12,000 and up in income. Then, of course, we know young people are very mobile. Their first job might be in South Carolina, then they move back to Tennessee. They may need to file a South Carolina tax return. It's important to disclose all income. I've got 3 millennials. My youngest one had three jobs last year, so you got to make sure you report that income from each job. And even if you're in doubt in terms of needing to file, if you had any taxes withheld, you want to file so you can get a refund.
Yeah, and I guess do you have that conversation with your parents when you get the first job, when you move out? Is that kind of something parents should initiate as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Just helping you think about the things that you're going to need to gather up, especially to make that return. And one of those things, Leslie, would be, if you just graduated and you're filing your first return, you may be able to deduct some of your student loan interest. You may get a dollar-for-dollar lifetime learning credit. These are things you might be eligible for but not think about.
Now, are there any other special deductions that millennials might have they might not know about?
Mostly the student ones, but we used to have the opportunity to itemize our deductions. Most people now take the standard deduction, which for an individual, a young millennial, would be about $12,000.
Oh, right. There we go. And your credits or so. Well, our greatest fear is just how to begin the process. How do you even begin filing?
So, this was an interesting fact I read. About 60% of millennials still go the old print it out and fill it out, file-in form, write-in form. So
really, that is shocking to me.
I know, isn't it though? So 1040EZ, is a one-pager that most people would be able to file. Of course, the IRS, if you go to their website, has free tax software. All of my millennial children use the H&R Block free electronic filing service through the irs.gov website. There's always TurboTax and TaxSlayer.
As they say, there's an app for that now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now, you have to be careful. Sometimes you're in those programs, you get upsold some different forms and things that you may or may not need. And then we can always go old school and hire a pro, hire H&R Block, hire an accountant to help you get that tax return filed for $100, $200.
Yeah. Really quick, any miscellaneous tips for people who, millennials especially, wanting to file?
To ease your anxiety, get organized. Just gather everything up and get it into a file. Don't worry so much about being audited. If you get something wrong, you'll get a letter. The IRS does not make house calls. And if you got married last year, you're probably filing as a joint return.
Definitely. All right, we're going to do our fast market fact as well, Paul. Anything we should be keeping our eye on?
This morning we're going to talk about the retirement marketplace. A recent Fidelity study showed that the average 401k account holder has about $111,000. The average IRA, individual retirement account, has about 111. 401k's got about 106. Why does this matter? Rules of thumb or guidelines. By the time you're 30, you want to have about 1 times your salary saved. If you're in the 50s, you want to have about 6 times your salary saved. So, as Americans, it's nice to see that we've got some money parked for retirement, but we need to do better.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Paul. And if you have questions for Paul, you can send him an email. We're going to put his email up there on the screen, and hopefully we'll get some good questions in from people in the audience.
They're already coming in.
Awesome.